All right, the markets are on fire, and where do I think the coins will go here in the next couple days? I will try and explain that real quick with technical analysis. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. Let's get into it. So Bitcoin has had a massive spike up from around 83,000 all the way up to 104,000. I believe Bitcoin, since it is using the Fibonacci retracement, could potentially be heading up towards 108. I do believe we will see a little bit of rejection and consolidation within this area around 108 to 100,000. But with Bitcoin's bullish movement, we have seen the rest of the markets increase. We have been talking about Doge for a while, how it was creating an inverse head and shoulders, which played out almost identical to what I had set up previously in my other videos. You can check it out. And when it finished that right shoulder, it had a massive increase. And if you were to enter, we entered a little bit lower, but if you were to enter at this point, that is around a 40% gain. Say, for example, even if you entered here, whenever it starts breaking this point, we would say that from this point to here is still 20% gain just on Dogecoin. It's still only 22 cents right now. I believe it's still trying to finish out the massive cup and handle pattern when we zoom out. And when it starts heading back up towards 48 cents, 50 cents, breaks that, we could see potentially $4. So you are practically at the bottom if you were to be buying into Dogecoin. Just keep that in mind. BNT, this one I was talking about before it even popped. I was saying we had to break this downward trend line, which we did. We had an entry right here because we saw it made a higher low, a little bit risky, but a perfect entry. And from this point, if you're in my trading signal channel or one-on-one, you would have got this entry, and you are currently up 73% from entry. And that's just, if you had $100, you almost have $200. So keeping that in mind, BNT is still at a very low point. I wouldn't recommend buying right now. Wait till you see some further movement in the market so you can make a better, clear judgment. But it has a very nice peak all the way up here. So that being around I believe even $10.50, and being at 62 cents, this has substantial potential to increase in price. And we could even see within the next couple of days, this just disregard what I was saying and not buying, and you should have bought and see it push all the way up to $1.50 and more very quickly. You see like these movements right here, if we're judging it from previous, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days to increase, say from this point up 234% in 5 days. And you judge that back by where we were at, and we are, I would say 1, 2, 3, so 4 and 5. I believe we could be seeing at least 80 cents potentially if this continues to increase in volume, as we do have what they would call divergence. Looking at this volume down here, you can see it's decreasing, and then looking at this play right here, you can see clearly it is increasing. That would be considered divergence. Keeping that in mind, BNT isn't something you should go 100% on in, but it is a very volatile coin and has high potential to make a lot of money this bull run. Tornado, I talked about this right whenever it was getting close to breaking this downward wedge. And as soon as we broke that downward wedge, we had a little bit of a retest, push up, retest off the 200 EMA, and we are pushing back up again. I was talking about buying this around $7.50, and $7.50 up to around $9.30 is also a 24% increase if you are in my signal channel. But this has an all-time high of over $430, I believe, and it is only $9. If you got $10, buy a Torn, see what happens. DNT, also that's not financial advice, it's just, words being thrown out there. DNT is similar to BNT. We do want to see this push up over, make a higher high here, and break this downward trend line. When that does happen, DNT has some major potential as well, just like BNT, and you can see that it was a high of 25 cents on this chart, and we are at 3 cents. So that's a pretty massive gain. We also want to see it break over that 200 EMA, this blue line right here. And when that starts to happen, we can start seeing a stronger bullish movement. Now the ones everybody wants to hear: XRP, XCN, XYO, XLM, all the X's. But we had an entry right at this very bottom with a Fibonacci retracement, and it was $1.74. This has increased slowly. However, it started building some support. It is up 38% from that low, and we are seeing it hold nicely on this upward trend line. It's breaking this downward trend line. If you look at the bigger picture, without all the stuff in the way, let's do that. You can see it's just basically the downward trend line, an upward trend line, bullish pendant, just like that with these black lines. There's a lot of fib and Goss fans, because I believe once we break this red line right here, we'll see a push up to $2.65 and even higher up into this top purple line, and probably mimicking over here at the 0.0618 being the Fibonacci return level. So I believe this is a good area where we're going to start seeing some consolidation real quick and a further push upwards. XYO. XYO is still trying to fill out the cup and handle pattern, and is above the fair value gap, these two dotted red lines. And I believe there's some major news coming May 13th that will be pushing XYO up in price. But I believe XYO is going to revisit up here at 0.024 and then push up to 0.03 and even higher somewhere in this area. We had some strong rejection around 3.35. We'll see what happens when XYO starts to push up with a bull market. XLM, and I wanted to bring up Quant. XLM also breaking over that downward trend line, forming a nice pattern that is showing bullish movement. We tested higher. We are going to see a push up to the 0.0322 and potentially up to 0.035 very quickly. But overall, XLM is a very good bet. It is filling out the cup and handle pattern just like a lot of the other charts we've been looking at. Major cup, and then there's the handle right here, and we want to see it push back up to the 50 cents and then take off. But XLM is a very good bet as well, and XCN. XCN still trying to fill out this downward wedge, and downward wedges usually have a tendency to push upwards, retest up here, and then take off. Also filling out a massive cup and handle pattern. So I'm very bullish on XCN. Already made over 2,500% in the past couple of years on XCN, and I have strong faith that this is going to test a little bit around here and then take off to 0.04. LCX and Quant would be the last two. LCX is getting a little bit more bullish. You could also consider this a major inverse head and shoulders, something similar to this. Here's the right shoulder, and we saw that happen with Dogecoin. Once it completes its pattern, holds above this upward trend line, is holding above the 200 EMA and this trend line that was going downwards, we'll see a substantial push in LCX. Currently only 15 cents, but they have a very nice utility, so keep them in mind. And lastly, Quant. Quant, I was talking about buying right here, $75. And with just this push alone, that's around 29% increase. Quant has potential to hit over $1,000. I believe 3,000 is price predictions, but $95 for say 1,500. That's pretty good bet. Very low point for Quant. Also tax free. I always recommend Grass Token if you want tokens and free money, airdrops, just for having an app run on your computer that doesn't take any of your information. I use MXC for the trading platform. It has the lowest fees out of any trading platform. All the references are in links below, as well as Coinbase doing free airdrops. That's it for today. I will see you guys on the next one.